action, excitement, and the only professional team in town? Don't miss out on the next Wilmington Hammerheads match. Show your support at their next game. Get your season tickets or single game tickets now at WilmingtonHammerheads.com.
I'm Troy Cole. I'm from Laguna Hills, California. Youth soccer took me to college soccer, which took me to the professional ranks. And then later on, I landed in Wilmington. The community in Wilmington, it couldn't be any more welcoming. The satisfaction of being a professional is people recognizing you at other these places and us recognizing them because they are the reason that we get to do what we love.
We represent the city when we're on the road, and we represent the city when we're at home as well. So it's important that we're putting our best foot forward and we give the city an avenue to express and showcase themselves on a national level. The experience of a Wilmington Hammerhead game is extremely important to me. We need to ensure that families of all ages come out and have a good time.
One of the things that we're really proud about is, when we look at our roster right now, or we look at our first 11, we're talking about guys that hopefully are going to have long careers in the highest leagues, whether it's here with us in Wilmington, whether it's in the MLS, or whether it's in Europe and beyond.
Our newest initiative is partnering with the largest youth club in the area. They've now taken on our crest. It brings our vision together, following a very similar path to many European clubs, whereas you have players who can start at the youngest age and work their way up and develop while having a model to look at and something to aspire to become. We want to be role models not only to the kids that look up to our players, but we want the cities to look at us and say, wow, Wilmington Hammerheads contribute a lot to our town. We want to walk away at the end of the day and say we've done everything we can to give back to our community.
The fans, they remember you, they see you on the streets, they say hello to you. How special is that?
And welcome soccer fans to Legion Stadium for the USL Pro matchup with the visiting Charleston Battery and the Wilmington Hammerheads. You're watching Wilmington Hammerheads FC on YouTube. I'm Chris Liebert. I'll be your host for tonight's game. It's heating up in the USL and just another match with this team, with the Hammerheads playing again Charleston. Charleston winning 1-0 last week, just a week ago. With me in the broadcast booth is, as always, Zach Haynes. Partner, good to have you up in the broadcast booth. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to tonight. Obviously, tough result on the road against Charleston Battery last week with Wilmington Hammerheads taking the knock 1-0. But we saw a lot of great things in the second half, and they had an early red card in the game, so lot of adversity to deal with in the second half, but to be honest, they showed very well. They stayed on the front foot, and they showed a lot of heart and a lot of character, so I'm sure Coach Porter will be looking to build off that tonight.
The Hammerheads are entering the game tonight in almost at the bottom of the table with 6 points. Haven't found a win at Legion Stadium this season, so it's going to be a crucial match to get a result this evening. Zach, talk a little bit about that going into a game when you're used to having a great record at home and you haven't found that first result at home.
Yeah, it's been a tough season so far results-wise, but I think there's so many positives that they can take away from so many of the games they've played in, and they're showing intent, they're showing, the vision that they've talked about, the philosophies coming to fruition, and it's taking time, and I think, everybody needs to be patient. I'm sure that's what Coach Porter is preaching in the locker room, is be patient, the results will come, keep doing the right things, and keep having the right attitude, and I think that's what they showed last week despite the result, and I would expect them to come out with a really good performance tonight, and I know they'll put the work in, so we'll see what happens.
This is the closest distance between the Hammerheads and Charleston all year for travel, and again, this is the third time that they've played this season, both results going to Charleston, so it's going to be interesting. Charleston sits in second place with 22 points. They only have one loss this season, 6 wins, 1 loss, and 4 ties in the 11 games, so the Hammerheads have some work to do. Always exciting. Coach Porter and Anhauser, they know each other. Both teams both have great histories. Talk a little bit about playing a team a third time in a season, let alone 1 week later.
At this point, they know each other well. They know the personnel. They probably have a general view of the tactics and understand the tendencies of each team. And so from there, it's really interesting because I think it's going to be down to individual performances, who can produce moments of magic individually, and also who puts the work in, who shows the most endeavor, and I think that will make the difference. I would expect it to be a tight game. I would expect both teams to have each other figured out for the most part tactically. So as I said, you'll look to a couple players here and there to make a difference.
Well, the temperature's up in Wilmington here as we sit on the east coast of North Carolina. It's hot, it's humid. These two teams usually get hot and heavy going at it themselves. So thank you for joining us on Wilmington Hammerheads FC TV on YouTube. We're looking forward to a great game. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for joining us at halftime. I'm Chris Liebert. Well, you're
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's USL Pro Soccer, the visiting Charleston Battery, and the Wilmington Hammerheads FC. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. It's the Wilmington Hammerheads FC channel. I'm Chris Liebert. I'll be your host for the next several hours as we see the United Soccer League's game between, again, the Wilmington Hammerheads FC and Charleston Battery. With me up here in the broadcast booth is Zach Haynes. He's going to be adding in his opinion and, of course, some wonderful play-by-play by me, and also Zach coming in to let us know what's happening. Zach, how are you this evening?
Doing great. Thanks, Chris.
We're going to actually take a quick break here as we honor America with the playing and singing of our national anthem. So we'll be right back again. Thank you for joining us on Wilmington Hammerhead FC TV. And welcome back, soccer fans, to Wilmington Hammerhead FC TV on USL, on YouTube Live, I should say. I'm Chris Liebert. I'll be your host for tonight's USL matchup between the Charleston Battery and the Wilmington Hammerheads. The Battery come in the second place in the table tonight with a 6-1-4 record. The Hammerheads have 6 points with a 1-6-3 record. It's a home game for these Hammers, desperately needing to get a result. Zach Haynes with me again. He'll be adding the color commentary. Zach, tell us a little bit about some players to watch or what we're going to see tonight.
I think it's going to be a very tight game. Both of these teams, they know each other well. They've played twice so far this season. Charleston had the edge in terms of the result in both games. But I can see both teams coming out tonight, maybe cagey at the beginning, but look for individual performances from Sonny Jane and Corbin Bone. Those are the guys that can turn the game. Those are the guys that can produce the special moments. And then on the other side, Dane Kelly and Ricky Garbanzo up top for Charleston Battery. Those guys have been a handful the last 2 games against the Hammerheads, and they'll have to do a very good job to keep them off the score sheet.
Well, these two teams faced just 1 week ago down in Charleston, South Carolina, about 3 hours from here, so not a lot of difference between these two teams, and again, a third time playing. I'm going to quickly go over tonight's lineups. In goal for the Battery, number 23, Odisno Cooper. His backs, Woodbine, Mueller, Ferguson, the 15 jersey, Emmanuel Ajete, and in the midfield, Jared Van Schaik, Justin Portillo. On the outside, you have 24, Zach Prince and Michael Chang. And up top, as Zach had said, number 17, Ricky Garbanzo and Dane Kelly. For Carson Porter and the Wilmington Hammerheads, in goal, number 0, and Andre Rawls. His 4 backs, Tom Parrott, Troy Cole, Fran Martinez, and his left back, Andre Campbell. In the midfield, Paul Nicholson, Brian Ackley. Out on the left-hand side, number 11 jersey for the Hammerheads, Sonny Jane, Justin Moose on the right side, and the 2 forwards, Nick Zimmerman and Corbin Bone. So we're about ready to get started here at Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a hot, humid night. Kickoff time probably in the 80s. It is on artificial turf, so it is going to be heating up this evening. So we're waiting for this starting whistle. Jeremy Smith, our referee for this evening, his crew, Aaron Gallagher, Ryan Graves, and the 4th official, Matthew Becker. So the Wilmington Hammerheads in all white. They will be moving from right to left on your computer screen or your television if you have us plugged in by HDMI. And the Charleston Battery in a red and black striped top with black shorts and black socks. They'll be moving from left to right on your screen. And just at midfield, the Hammerheads win the ball back and quickly out to Justin Moose as the Hammerheads have possession to start this match. Again, in all white and a ball in 2, but very well received easily by Odisno Cooper. So we'll see his first distribution of the evening, well past midfield, as Fran Martinez wins the ball, and we'll stay on this near side with Andre Campbell. And there's Campbell again. Another turnover there. 2 in a row he wants to have back there. And we'll see our first call of the evening. Jeremy Smith whistles for the Charleston Battery. Zach, so far these two teams, again, they've played. This is the 3rd time playing twice here at home. So far, just 2 teams feeling each other out and seeing what's going to happen.
It looks like both teams are matching up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Charleston has settled on this for the majority of the season, with Garbanzo playing off a center forward, Dane Kelly primarily.
Here's a ball whipped into the box and cleared by Nicholson. Nicholson playing a good part of the season. And the ball stays just in, but then over the end line for our first Hammerhead goal kick of this evening.
The Hammerheads look to make a couple adjustments from the game last week against the Charleston Battery. They've come out in a 4-2-3-1 with 2 screens in front of the back 4 with Nicholson and Ackley. And Corbin Bones pushed into a slightly advanced position from the normal position he's played as more of a 6 or an 8. Looks like he's going to play right underneath Zimmerman.
So we await Rawls' goal kick, first one of the evening for his Wilmington Hammerheads.
And just at midfield is Justin Portillo to Woodbine and all the way back to Cooper in goal. Another win by Martinez, but no possession for Wilmington on that clearance. And Troy Cole with a missed clearance there, and Tom Parrott able to knock the ball out in his defensive end, so we will see a throw-in. It's a very narrow field here. You can see the American football lines on that, so constrictive area. They have moved the lines out a little bit from the years past, but still a very, very narrow field. You'll see a lot of set pieces off those throws, Zach, into danger.
And Dane Kelly is a big, strong target center forward as well, so Charleston Battery will look to play fairly direct, whether it's set pieces, restarts, or in the run of play off Dane Kelly.
And another clearance, and Andre Campbell. And a missed touch by Michael Chang on the far sideline will be a throw-in for Wilmington. So 4 minutes in, very early at this USL match. Wilmington Hammerheads and Charleston Battery. You're in Wilmington, North Carolina. Again, I'm Chris Liebert. With me, Zach Haynes, in a 0-0 fresh started USL match this evening. You are watching Wilmington Hammerheads FC TV on YouTube. And we'll see a dangerous play there, whistled by our center referee, Jeremy Smith. Boot was just a little too high up around the head of defender Tom Parrott.
Tom had a great first half in Charleston last week. Unfortunately, he had to come off early due to some sickness that was going around within the team.
And Wilmington will try to play out of the back patiently here. Here's first look at Sonny Jane. Has a little slip and fall as Woodbine is there to clean up. Martinez is able to step in, play on, says the referee, no foul there. And miss-hit ball by Moose, but he wins it back. And another whistle there. Fans felt that referee might have made an early decision on a player that was already falling down. You can hear the crowd on the far side, a very illustrated group. The Port City Firm, the official support group of the Wilmington Hammerheads FC on that far side. You'll get a good shot at them at several times during this match here. Big strong tackle by Parrott. And another soft call. And big clearance by Troy Cole.
It'll be interesting tonight, Chris, to see how Justin Moose and Sonny Jane are deployed. Both guys are typically used as number 10s, attacking midfielders. Sonny's played there for the majority of the season, while Justin Moose has found himself wide right. I would expect them to mix up their movement, coming wide at times, but also coming to the inside as well and finding the pockets underneath.
And Prince gets a shot in on Campbell, right? Looked like a good old-fashioned WWF chop right to the throat of Campbell down. He's wincing in pain here on this near sideline as Jeremy Smith, the center referee, checks on him, has a word with Prince. He understands what's happened there, but tells him to calm down a little bit here. So several fouls early on here, kind of touchy, nothing big. You had said earlier in the telecast, or at least in our production meeting, that these two teams are very physical, and depending on the refereeing, it could be caged up and bottled up and could get dangerous at times.
Well, there were a couple moments in the game last weekend. Obviously, center forward for the Hammerheads, Aaron Wheeler, was sent off in the first half, and that came from a little bit of a scrum with him and the center back, Forrest Lasso, who starts on the bench tonight for the Battery. But it's two teams that obviously they feel there's a sense of a rivalry here with being so close, and this is the third time they've seen each other, so I'm sure there's no love lost.
Ackley out to Campbell. Campbell on this near sideline gets stood up, I should say, by Prince, but he weaves on through, does a great job. No foul there. A lot of body contact, little chippiness, some hands so far. Nothing there. What do you think there?
Yeah, I think the middle referee here, center referee, is looking to let him play as much as he can without things getting out of hand early. He wants to make sure that things don't become reckless and too much afters.
So we'll see another goal kick by Cooper. 9th minute here at Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. Still 0-0 the score. Of course, you can see the teleprompt up on your screen with the clock. Series of passes of Justin Moose and Tom Parrott. Parrott gets knocked down, and another foul from behind there. And in the 8 minutes, I think we've almost reached 10 fouls so far in this match. So certainly a little touchy and clippy early on. So it'll be interesting to see how the duration of this match turns out. And a throw-in will be called there, I do believe. Sure enough, on the far side. So Justin Moose flicks ahead here. Corbin Bone able to get a good turnaround, plays it across the top of the 18, and just a shot didn't really get a good hold of as Paul Nicholson there coming across the top of the 18.
It's fantastic skill by Corbin Bone. Early throw-in from Tom Parrott. Corbin Bone makes the diagonal run in behind the back four. He can't be offsides, obviously, because it is a throw-in, and fantastic skill to flick it over the defender's head, and had the vision to find the cutback to Paul Nicholson, but unfortunately not on his favored right foot.
Long clearance again by Cooper. Array of Wilmington Hammerhead defenders there, and here's a long ball from Parrott from the right side, and to no avail for any Wilmington Hammerhead forwards up top, and Corbin Bone and Nick Zimmerman. Zimmerman 10 minutes in and has failed to see a touch early on, or Hammerheads are unable to find him thus far.
Both teams have been fairly direct so far. I think it's a situation where they don't want to come out and make a big mistake in the first 10 minutes, so they've been hesitant to play through the midfield, making sure they take no risk, and it's gone long quite a bit, and neither team has really been able to generate much in the way of a quality attack.
This match being played on artificial turf, so you'll see the ball taking, and there's another example there. Troy Cole just prior to two times. Nicholson not only on his last pass, but the last shot here on this artificial turf. You'll see that ball takes some odd bounces. And here's our first look at Andre Rawls with just a little housekeeping there to tidy up a clearance, but getting back to the artificial turf, that ball takes some nasty spins. And Zach, I know you've played on this field several times and coached on this field. It's hard to get used to.
It is. Occasionally the ball will be slick. It'll glide along the surface, and it'll come at you fast, and then at times it'll grab, and it'll seem to hold up on you.
So here's Zimmerman, our first look at the Wilmington Hammerhead forward. A ball played across, and there's going to be a missed opportunity just over the bar there. Lunging Cooper comes out. Do believe that's Ackley. Loose ball just outside of the 6. If Cooper doesn't come out to cause any kind of interference there, that's 1-0 for the Wilmington Hammerheads. But that's an opportunity I believe that Ackley has to stick away and put his squad up if they're at home trying to get points, put that game up 1-0.
Fantastic build-up play down the left side from the Hammerheads, and the ball found its way to Ackley coming through from the midfield position on the back post. And as Chris said, fantastic work on the keeper. Really came down to close down the angle, and Ackley actually tried to dink it over him and wasn't able to put it away side foot, so that ended up being the difference as it went over the bar.
Dane Kelly does a good job on this last series of plays for Charleston to keep the ball in, but does go over the line there. Crafty move there by Andre Campbell, and a ball up to Zimmerman there, but will be cleared up by Ferguson.
Good cover by Ferguson there. That was an excellent ball by Andre Campbell, left back for the Hammerheads.
Short throw in. Corbin Bone on the near side finds Sonny Jane. Jane taking on two defenders there and is unable to thread the needle there, and Nicholson's there to mishead the ball. Perhaps some time there to bring that ball down and settle. And Campbell finds the goalkeeper Rawls, puts it straight up in the air for Nicholson there. Good settle by Taylor Mueller. Jane at midfield all the way over to Tom Parrott. And he settles things down. Another long ball there, trying to find Zimmerman up top. Heavy touch, able to keep the ball in. So the Hammerheads still in possession here. And all the way out to Campbell.
This is better from the Hammerheads. They're starting to find a little bit of a rhythm, starting to get guys touches and possession, wearing them down a little bit. The Battery trying to make them move, trying to get them out of their shape. They're very organized, but this will be the key for the Hammerheads as they move forward in this game.
Turnover by Moose, so here's Charleston on the counter. Just in midfield is Michael Chang, and he avoids some tackles. There's a ball played in. If it's played right, that could be trouble there for Dane Kelly, but Rawls able to cut off any kind of threat from the visiting Battery.
It's important here for the Hammerheads to use the two center mids with Paul Nicholson and Brian Ackley to change the point of attack. They're playing two defensive mids, two holders, and they'll need those two to give that anchor, but also to provide a switch of play so they don't become too one-sided, too predictable.
Strong touch there by Campbell coming out of the back, and Woodbine is able to cut the ball off, but the Hammerheads still able to keep the ball. And another foul whistled there. Nicholson gets caught in a tackle from behind, and once again the center referee rewarding Charleston with a free kick just inside of their half. In the 16th minute here, no score.
The back four of the Hammerheads have looked very solid. You can tell they've worked on shape with this unit that hasn't played together too much between Fran Martinez and Troy Cole, but so far they've done a pretty good job together.
Moose able to keep the ball in on that far sideline just in front of a very sun-drenched bench. Michael Anhauser, head coach of the Charleston Battery. And we'll see a Wilmington throw-in.
It's important here for the Hammerheads to stay in the attacking half, continue to pile the pressure on the Battery. They're comfortable staying in their shape as they earn a corner kick here. They're comfortable staying in their shape, the Battery are, and defending in their two banks of four. So it'll be vital for the Hammerheads to move them around, shift the ball, find a rhythm, and especially get Corbin Bone into the game in between the lines as he's that underneath guy.
So Sonny Jane over to take the first corner kick of the evening, and first, of course, for the Wilmington Hammerheads. We'll see as the Wilmington Hammerheads load the box as Sonny Jane awaits his kick, served in the box and high and just over everybody. So no real danger there. Fans, become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Join Facebook and search USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. A little bit of wind in favor of the Wilmington Hammerheads, again moving from right to left on your screen in the all-white. And here's Prince for Charleston on the attack.
Little congestion there as Nicholson comes over to assist and makes it out of there. Jane and Moose have switched sides for the time being from that starting kickoff, so we'll see Justin Moose here on this near side on the left flank and Sonny Jane on the other side. Here's Jane on the ball as we speak. And Hammerheads on attack. Here's Zimmerman. Ball played into the box, cut across, and able to be stopped there by Mueller. And a big long ball here could hold up on this turf and cause a little problems, and has to be played back there, and Fran Martinez does a good job. That ball just sat down on that turf and kind of in dead man's land between the goalkeeper and that center back. So Martinez certainly had to make a decision on heading back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, so far the back four have looked solid. The center backs have made the right decisions of when to step up and challenge, and also have been very good in terms of their covering positions, as Fran Martinez was there.
It's a good ball into Corbin Bone, does well, and all the way outside to Jane. So we'll see his speed and craftiness. Tries to take on Agity in defense there. And we see Charleston in the counter again. Prince nearsided. Great recovery by Justin Moose there. And Prince able to come out on top with the ball, but a turnover. So here's Jane. Quick turnover just at midfield, and we'll see Justin Moose move forward for his Wilmington Hammerheads. Great ball by Corbin Bone. He's going to be offsides as Sonny Jane, though.
It's a really, really good idea, though. And you can tell the difference when Corbin Bone gets involved and they find him and get him on the ball and faced up. Things happen, things change. And Sonny Jane off the edge there, an excellent diagonal run in behind, and he couldn't have been more than a step or two off. Good idea, though, by the Hammerheads.
So back to action. Here's Ferguson for Charleston. Long ball direct straight up the middle, and once again is Fran Martinez as Nicholson comes out of it in a battle with his Charleston defender. Jared Van Schaik. A little bit back and forth between, again, this ball seems to bounce a little bit if it's not settled down on this artificial turf. It's hard to hit a good true ball on it. I was talking with Coach Anhauser early, and they were a little worried. There's a little bit of a ball shot in for Rawls to look at, trying perhaps to be caught off of his line, but over the end line.
I think Chang there tried to find Kelly peeling off the shoulder to the back post, and it's just a little bit of an overhit cross, but that's something they'll try to do throughout the game with Dane Kelly, such an effective target man up top, good in the air, and Chang and Prince are both capable of good delivery from wide areas, and they'll look to put it in beyond the center backs early and try to make things happen.
You can jump on Twitter. There's also fans. Follow at USL on Twitter to become a league insider. Join club conversations and have a chance at exclusive giveaways at USL on Twitter. Here's Van Schaik in a big sliding tackle as Cole comes all the way from the center back position to step up and have a big tackle. We'll see Zimmerman on this side, but he is in an offside position.
It's a great run by Moose, and it's a good pick out as well. Inexcusable by Nick Zimmerman there. He's looking down the line. He's got to time his movement. It wasn't as if the ball was delivered late by Moose, and tough call, probably only a step or two offsides, but again, more attacking intent by the Hammerheads. They're starting to find Moose. They're starting to find Corbin Bone, Sonny Jane, and these are the guys that are going to be influential. Zimmerman's not much of a runner. He's not a guy that's going to stretch him behind, so they must find possession higher up the field with the three underneath him.
Campbell and Ackley, a series of passes back and forth as they hold control of the ball, and again back to Campbell. Big switch over to Troy Cole. And Fran Martinez settles things down and has a walk out of the back. No pressure by Charleston. There's a little bit of a release there by Garbanzo as back to Troy Cole.
Fantastic ball by Ackley there, switching the point of attack out to Moose. That's going to be critical for them going forward. As I said, they need to use these two center mids. They're playing flat. They're there to make sure that they can change the point of attack, and it looks like they're going to keep Sonny Jane and Justin Moose primarily wide, so it's important. Those long diagonals are going to be very, very important for the Hammerheads moving forward.
A quick throw in there to Jane up top. He's unable to find a connecting pass to one of his teammates, and Charleston will come out on a counter, but Wilmington seems to have defensive numbers back. But Michael Chang coming on this far side, that's Dane Kelly that's able to get around there and get forward, and he has a little bit of a collision there with Rawls, so both players down. You get a look on your screen as Rawls is being checked by center referee. Looks as if he's got a clip to the face a little bit, and Dane Kelly also is down as both medical staffs are called on to the field there. So, partner, we're halfway through this first half here. Charleston Battery and Wilmington Hammerheads, thoughts so far perhaps on advantage, times of possession, and possibly what our scoring chances should be.
It's been fairly uneventful so far. The Wilmington Hammerheads have probably had the better of the play in terms of sequences going forward. They've created a few good opportunities in terms of getting into good areas, but not much in terms of testing the keeper besides the one chance for Brian Ackley. The Battery haven't looked too threatening as of yet. That run by Dane Kelly was probably the most promising effort they've had so far. Both teams have been fairly direct. They've struggled to find a rhythm so far. Charleston Battery, they're content with, as I said before, two banks of four, countering through the two up top. The Hammerheads, going back to Nick Zimmerman and his play, he's someone that if you get him around the 18, if you get him into scoring positions in and around the goal, he can take advantage. He's a goal scorer. He's got fantastic technique. He's got a nose for the goal. But you have to get him into those positions. He's not the type of center forward where you're going to be able to play long balls up to him and play off of him. He's going to be someone that you need to get into the box with some established possession, some good movements forward, good patterns of play. And Corbin Bones, Sonny Jane, and Justin Moose are going to be the guys that can provide that. So they just need a little bit more patience in the attack.
So again, we are at a little break here as we see both medical staffs on the field, and a red card has been issued to Dane Kelly. Similar to last week down in Charleston, where I do believe in the 30-ish minute, but Dane Kelly, forward for Charleston Battery, has been issued a red card, and his teammates there going over to the referee to see what happened, and I do believe he got a good boot into Rawls' head. He looks like he's coming off with medical staff there, but sure enough, Dane Kelly is off for the rest of the match.
It's hard to tell from up in the booth, but I'm pretty certain Andre Rawls has a gash in his head, and you can see the blood from back here, and he's got a patch over. I'm not exactly sure where it is, over his eye or somewhere on his face. But as the ball went through, Dane Kelly's final touch was a little heavy, and it looked like he was going to be nowhere near it, and Rawls came to claim it. And he seemed to kick out almost to get a toe touch and maybe find that final touch to put it past Rawls, but he was so far away from it that clearly the referee, after consulting with his assistant referee on the sideline, felt like he was nowhere near it, and it could only be deemed violent conduct, and leading to Andre Rawls with the cut over the eye.
Well, Rawls is making his way to the locker room for medical attention, and we'll see Larry Jackson coming in for the Wilmington Hammerheads to serve as a backup goalkeeper. And the Wilmington Hammerheads are going to have a one-man advantage for quite some time, similar to exactly what happened back in Charleston just 1 week ago when the Hammerheads received a red card.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Chris. It was about 5 minutes later than this in the Battery game in Charleston last weekend that Aaron Wheeler was sent off. So similar situation, the only difference being at that point or nearly after, the Charleston Battery enjoyed a 1-0 advantage. So they were able to sit on that lead for the rest of the game despite the best efforts of the Hammerheads in a really, really good second half, a man down. But this is an interesting situation here. Larry Jackson is a keeper that started the season, very, very competent keeper. He was excellent for them early on, and Andre Rawls just played so well he came in and earned the position. So the positive is they have two very capable keepers, and another positive, obviously, now they have a man advantage for the rest of the game.
Well, one of the positives for the Wilmington Hammerheads, I spoke with Coach Anhauser earlier before the game, and he said that the Hammerheads, one, are not a team that reflect their position in the table, and certainly in a game last week, Sonny Jane hit the post, I do believe, in the 88th minute or in extra time that could have tied up that game. So by no means does Anhauser and this Charleston Battery hold or think that they're better than the Wilmington Hammerheads, and now they are facing a one-man disadvantage.
Yeah, there's no question, Chris. I think everybody has seen that have come across the Hammerheads so far this year that their record is a tough reflection on them as a team because they've struggled with injuries. They've had to chop and change the lineup. They've had to change systems. They've had to fit the personnel that's come along, and it's been a difficult one in terms of results. But I think there's been plenty of moments throughout the season, and halves at a time or 60 minutes at a time, where they've shown what they're capable of, but they just haven't been able to put it all together. And this is a huge game for them now with so much of the game left in a man advantage. You feel they have to get the 3 points tonight.
Well, they'll patiently build up again as Ackley's at midfield and a long ball through, but wasted opportunity as he gives the universal sign of he understands what happened there and it's his fault. So they'll face a goal kick coming in the 30th minute.
Well, we hope Andre Rawls is okay and it's not a serious injury and something that he can come back from quickly. He's been outstanding so far this season for the Wilmington Hammerheads. Last week it was 2 world-class saves that kept the Hammerheads within striking distance, within 1 goal, and gave them an opportunity, as Chris mentioned, at the end of the game. I believe it was actually Shawnee Faircloth coming up from center back who hit one off the crossbar that could have equalized and gotten a valuable point on the road. But we hope he's okay. Larry Jackson, he's someone that, again, he's come in and he's shown what he's capable of earlier in the season.
We'll see a throw in here on this near side as Woodbine. There's a little shove there. Again, Prince and Campbell have gone at it, and Campbell has some words and gets in Prince's face there as he doesn't like being shoved. That's the second time that Prince has gotten a hold of Campbell, once to the throat on this near side, and Fran Martinez stepping in as a center back, pulling his defender, saying, hey, we don't need to level this thing back up as far as player advantage. There's a late challenge there, and it's chippy again.
I think if anyone had any questions about whether this is a rivalry or not and whether the players feel it, I think we're answering those questions now. 2 red cards in 2 games, a lot of fouls after the play, a lot of things happening, a lot of afters, and hopefully it doesn't lead to any more sendings off. We'd like to see a good, clean game the rest of the way out and see some good soccer, but there's no question that the players are competing and they want the points.
You see Troy Cole able to get on the other end of a long ball by Charleston, and another high boot on that far side, and players seem to be falling left and right.
We'll see how the tactics change with both teams now, with Dane Kelly going off, the big center forward for Charleston Battery, who they enjoy playing off of so well, and Ricky Garbanzo is more of a diminutive attacking mid player, withdrawn off of Dane Kelly. Now he's gone up to the center forward position. So obviously, as they move forward, as the Charleston Battery attack, it's going to be 2 banks of 4 with Garbanzo ahead of it, but they're going to have to find his feet. It's not going to be a situation where they can find him in behind or aerial balls.
Oh, good cut there, and a long ball, or excuse me, a cross into Sonny Jane there, a long service. Campbell does a great job to turn his defender and just doesn't quite whip the ball, and he lofts it up a little bit and over the head of not the most of tall players in a Sonny Jane. So we'll see a goal kick here in the 33rd minute.
Going back to the setup of the Battery, it doesn't change so much the way they look to play in terms of countering through their front players. Now they just have one less to do it. So they're going to have to be a little bit more patient. They're going to have to connect a few more passes to get forward and get on the counter. The direct passes through, as Garbanzo does a great job here to hold it up, it's going to take them that extra pass or two to get runners out of the midfield. So if the Hammerheads can stay on the front foot, they hopefully, for their sake, should be able to create a lot of counterattacks moving the other way.
And here's Sonny Jane unable to get through, and a little shot by Ackley, and Garbanzo quickly gets up and tries to make a quick run forward as his team is still in possession as he's on the floor there. Good turn by Ackley, good move. Fans, Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. Proud sponsors of the United Soccer Leagues and this USL Pro League. Again, you're watching the Charleston Battery visiting the Wilmington Hammerheads at Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. You're watching Wilmington Hammerhead FC TV on YouTube. Good series of moves by Jane, but cut off there by Woodbine, and he lets it trickle over the end line for another Charleston goal kick.
In the second half of the game last weekend against the Battery, the Hammerheads had a lot of success getting the ball wide and isolating the outside backs of the Battery and running at them and getting crosses into the box. So it'll be interesting to see if they go back to that pattern, go back to that tactic here, now with a man advantage.
A second missed kick there by Cooper in goal, so the Hammerheads will regain possession as you see Martinez working his way out of the back once again for the Wilmington Hammerheads and unable to connect with Zimmerman.
Ackley just a little bit impatient there, trying to find his front runner Nick Zimmerman's feet. And it's not a bad idea, just the weight of the pass was a little heavy. And again, the situation here for the Hammerheads is they have plenty of time. They don't need to panic. They don't need to go crazy thinking they need to score immediately just because they're up a man. They have the advantage. Their style of play is that they like to keep the ball. They like to keep it moving. But this just allows them to take a few more chances getting numbers forward as they have that extra man, and it should suit them.
It's a good turn by Sonny Jane, but wasn't able to do anything on the front end of it as he tries to get behind the Charleston defense. And a big ball here. We'll see the first touch by Jackson.
The important thing here for the Hammerheads is their organization in the back behind the ball when they have possession needs to be spot on, because at this point with a man down, the Battery, it's going to be all counterattacking, and they need to make sure that they don't rest on their laurels and get complacent in the back and watch their attacking players get numbers forward and enjoy some possession in the attacking third. It's important for them to make sure they're marked up behind the ball and really stifle any kind of threat that the Battery pose on the counterattack.
Justin Moose finding Zimmerman, and he'll try to play out to Tom Parrott, but a big shot going to be taken, and that's a good almost 30 yards out as Ackley being a bit ambitious there, but haven't really, other than one other opportunity, haven't really tested Cooper on the end, so perhaps not a bad idea to see if that is on frame to see what Cooper has.
Well, the final product hasn't quite been there for the Hammerheads. Plenty of attacking intent. They've had good moments, as we said before. They've found good space, good areas of the field, but that final pass, the final shot, just not quite the quality they're looking for as of yet.
And it looks as if Moose and Jane have switched sides once again. So here's Justin Moose on that far sideline and just tackled out of bounds. Last touch by Charleston, and we'll see Hammerhead still in possession as they find Campbell here on this near side. Good whipping ball in, and Ferguson and Mueller have to. That is Mueller actually with the clearance.
That's well done by Ackley there. That's what we mentioned before, organization behind the ball. Fran Martinez does a good job of winning the initial challenge, and it's so important that the two center mids, they don't both need to come back and create that double screen at this point with a man advantage. So Ackley does a good job as the lone central midfielder in front of the two center backs to cover, come back, win the second ball, and start the attack for the Hammerheads.
Woodbine turns the ball and makes a decision there to go to Portillo.
Going back to Ackley's position, it'll be interesting to see here if they push on Paul Nicholson a little bit higher now, as they probably feel they don't need two center mids in front of the back four with essentially that block of six. Now with just one up front, with the diminutive, the smaller, craftier type of player with Garbanzo.
Here's Chang with the ball whipped in. And Prince back the other way, and Tom Parrott's there. Good little touch there by Agity.
Yeah, just going back to that point, Chris, I think that they'll feel that they can handle Garbanzo with the two center backs and then one true holding mid, and that allows one more number to join forward with Corbin Bone, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing here is Paul Nicholson's starting to fill the gaps a little bit higher up, whether it's him or Brian Ackley, giving them someone else in between the lines in the midfield.
It's a little possession of their own. The game is kind of stalled out a little bit. Charleston slowing the pace down. They certainly know with a man down that they can't go blow for blow and long runs on every single play. So they'll take a little time here out of this first half and perhaps control the ball to save some legs because they know they are down one person. So all the way back to Jackson.
Yeah, to that point, Chris, absolutely. The Battery will want to take the sting out of the game. They'll want to slow it down. At 0-0, they're thinking this is fine. And the longer this game goes on, the more of a chance they feel they can nick one at the end. But it will be a tough battle for them. It will be one where they're going to have to be defensively very organized, very solid, and talk themselves through every step of the way.
Jane has a connecting pass to Nicholson. Tough ball there, well kept in by Campbell, but a big strong tackle on this far near side by Zach Prince will be out of bounds and will be a throw-in for Campbell and his Hammerheads.
So here, as we mentioned forward, we see Paul Nicholson making his way a little higher up the field, more of an advanced position, with Brian Ackley being that lone holding mid. He can change the point of attack. He can anchor the attack if they need to go back and reverse it.
Ball whipped in by Moose, but just again over the head of Jane, and will go out for a throw-in. So we'll take this time to tell you, fans, that all USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. So connect with USL YouTube channel today. And again, you're watching the Wilmington Hammerheads FC channel on YouTube. 41st minute here at Legion and 0-0. So fans, if you missed it, in the 27th minute, Dane Kelly, the forward for the Charleston Battery, the number 9 jersey for Charleston, receiving a red card on his tackle on Andre Rawls. So we'll give the Wilmington Hammerheads a one-man advantage, but to this point, stalemate on the scoreboard from both sides.
The Battery are comfortable with this. As long as the Hammerheads hurry things a little bit and give away possession cheaply, then it's playing into their hands. It's when they've connected 5, 6, 7 passes in the attacking half and they've shifted and they've moved the Battery around and they've gotten them out of the shape, 2 banks of 4. That's when they've caused problems. That's when they've looked the most threatening. So that patience, while it's not playing slow, it's not connecting passes just for the sake of connecting them. It's making sure that you have rhythm and tempo to really move players out of the positions where they're comfortable.
See Ackley with a lot of room coming and trying to find Zimmerman up top. They just quite haven't been able to find his feet. He's not a streaking forward, so it's important that they find the proper weight of a pass and the proper pass to find that forward's feet, because he's not going to be blazing speed around you. Sonny Jane is the one that you want running, so Good opportunity here for Wilmington. Andre Campbell all the way from the left back position, stealing the ball in the box, and we'll see a second corner kick for Wilmington.
Yeah, that's fantastic transition by Andre Campbell, the left back. He found himself forward on the overlap, and he did very well as the ball turned over to win it right back and create an opportunity for himself.
Here's a ball in, and Cooper easily, unattested, able to receive that. And here's a little bit of some trouble. Again, all from late hits, both sides, players falling all over the place. Fran Martinez, I think, was involved at some point.
Looked like Tom Parrott caught one of the Battery players just a touch after the play, and then another one of the Battery players comes in and actually pushes him from behind onto the turf. Very, very interested to see what the referee does here.
Well, he's given out 2 yellow cards, one to Fran Martinez in the 44th minute. Of course, in the 27th minute, we've seen red with Dane Kelly of the Battery. So 2 more players in the book, both in the 44th minute. I don't quite see who that other one was for. I think it was going to be a Charleston player that picked up one. We'll wait for the announcement, perhaps from the public address announcer.
Well, whoever it was is extremely fortunate because they came in and they just pushed Tom Parrott 2 hands into the back, straight over, face first onto the turf. And I know the Hammerheads coaching staff is going to be extremely, extremely unimpressed by that decision because last week, that's exactly what Aaron Wheeler was sent off for, except it wasn't in the back. It was just a 2-handed push to the chest of Forrest Lasso, the center back. He went over, and Aaron Wheeler was sent off straight red.
Well, we're approaching the 45 on the clock here, so we'll wait for the 4th official. I would imagine with some injury and certainly some delay there that we'll probably see 4 minutes, a good 3 or 4 minutes put up on the board. We'll wait for the 4th official to put the digiboard up and see exactly how much time we have left.
You called it, 4 minutes.
Another player down. It looks as Zimmerman's down for Wilmington, but he's back up and play goes on. So about another 4 minutes there, and now it's just getting a little ridiculous there.
Yeah, that's embarrassing by Garbanzo. You can tell what he's attempting to do there. Fortunately enough, he sort of stopped his motion. Almost looked like he was trying to play act, and that Troy Cole leaned into him with a headbutt or something like that. You hate to see it get to that point. You want both teams to compete, play hard. If it gets physical, it gets physical, but that's not what you want to see in the game.
Garbanzo falls down like a sack of potatoes there as he gets looked at by Troy Cole in the back, and it's going to be quite interesting. There's another player, and they're all over. Garbanzo is just falling down left and right, trying to pick up something, and at some point you'd like to see, and you see it more and more, that Jeremy Smith says enough is enough of you trying to gain things and card Garbanzo for diving or whatever it may be at that point.
Well, he may have to. And listen, it's a thankless job right now that Ricky Garbanzo has. He's the lone forward in a 4-4-1, down a man, and he's used to playing as an attacking mid, a true number 10 or a withdrawn striker. It's not his role. It's not what he's suited for. He's an excellent player. He's a handful, but it's a thankless job. But you don't want him to get caught up in that part of the game. And hopefully he just continues to work hard and does a job for his team as they look to get a result here. But as long as it stays within the within the rules and regulations, I'm sure Jeremy Smith will we'll probably have a word with him and just make sure that he doesn't take it over the line.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to be in Jeremy Smith's shoes either as the center referees. One thing about getting in at halftime is he knows that he's got 45 minutes more of tough work ahead, because these two teams are certainly battling, and it's shown to be chippy thus far. And as a referee, he knows that he's going to have a long, drawn-out night. And there he does whistle, he being Jeremy Smith, for the first half. So the first half, very interesting, very lot of dramatics, and everybody comes in to talk to the whole crew. This almost looks as if it's the end of the game, people going up to the referees to talk about things, but very interesting, a lot going on. So a lot of jabbing, a lot of coaching staffs over there and players. So that is the first half of a 0-0 score of the USL Pro, and you're watching Wilmington Hammerhead FC on YouTube, and very interesting. We'll talk about the first half. We will take a quick break. We'll let some things cool down as both teams go to the locker room and all four officials go to their separate room. So thank you again for joining us. We will tally up some stats here and talk about the first half. We thank you for watching USL Pro Soccer Wilmington Hammerheads FC TV on YouTube. 0-0 Charleston Battery, Wilmington Hammerheads. Second half coming up. It's going to be interesting. We'll be right back.
Looking for action, excitement, and the only professional team in town? Don't miss out on the next Wilmington Hammerheads match. Show your support at their next game. Get your season tickets or single game tickets now at WilmingtonHammerheads.com.
I'm Troy Cole. I'm from Laguna Hills, California. Youth soccer took me to college soccer, which took me to the professional ranks. And then later on, I landed in Wilmington. The community in Wilmington, it couldn't be any more welcoming. The satisfaction of being a professional is people recognizing you at these places and us recognizing them because they are the reason that we get to do what we love.
We represent the city when we're on the road, and we represent the city when we're at home as well. So it's important that we're putting our best foot forward and we give the city an avenue to express and showcase themselves on a national level. The experience of a Wilmington Hammerhead game is extremely important to me. We need to ensure that families of all ages come out and have a good time.
One of the things that we're really proud about is, when we look at our roster right now, or we look at our first 11, we're talking about guys that hopefully are going to have long careers in the highest leagues, whether it's here with us in Wilmington, whether it's in the MLS, or whether it's in Europe and beyond.
Our newest initiative is partnering with the largest youth club in the area. They've now taken on our crest. It brings our vision together, following a very similar path to many European clubs, whereas you have players who can start at the youngest age and work their way up and develop while having a model to look at and something to aspire to become. We want to be role models not only to the kids that look up to our players, but we want the cities to look at us and say, wow, Wilmington Hammerheads contributed a lot to our town. We want to walk away at the end of the day and say we've done everything we can to give back to our community.
The fans, they remember you, they see you on the streets, they say hello to you. How special is that?
And thanks for joining us at halftime. I'm Chris Liebert. Well, you're watching Wilmington Hammerheads FC on YouTube. It's our halftime interview. We always do this for the remainder of the season. We'll be interviewing all of the Hammerhead players at some point in time. With me tonight is defender Troy Cole. Troy, welcome to the halftime broadcast in the broadcast booth.
Thanks for having me.
It's a wonderful thing to have these players be able to talk about the ins and the outs of what's going on with not only the USL but also the season. Troy, tell us a little bit, certainly into the season, not quite halfway, not where you want to be points-wise. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the program with the Hammerheads.
Well, we just continue to move forward. We learn from our mistakes, and I know it's a lot of cliches, but we intent on taking action and just taking it one game at a time. We're not letting negative energy infect our locker room. We continue to be positive. We believe in ourselves, and that's how we take it.
Well, it hasn't been an easy schedule for you. Of the first 10 games, 6 of those games have been from the top 4 teams. That's rough playing. Talked a little bit about the table, the teams that you face, and the teams that you're going to be seeing for the remainder of the season.
Right, yes. No doubt that every game is competitive, and we've looked at some of the top teams in our league, some of those teams that have been around the league for a while, and they may have a better mesh to start the season. But all that being said, we don't have any excuses other than we know when we play at our best that it's not going to matter top team, bottom team. We're going to do the work, and we're going to get it done the right way.
You've been in this league for, I do believe, four years now. You had a year away from Wilmington. Talk a little bit about being back in Wilmington and seeing the changes in the organization, not only from the ground level up from the youth, but also the fan base and the program.
Well, there's a lot to talk about there, but right away you notice there has been some major changes, and I think all for the positive. You may not see them in results right away, but you get that sense. You get that sense that we're moving in the right direction. We're taking steps forward, and it may not look like that at the table as of now, but we have a great vision for this club, and they make us very proud to be playing for it.
You've seen that the team has had an affiliation with the MLS, and most teams in the league has. Talk about what that does for a player, knowing that perhaps you can get up to the highest league for professional soccer in the United States, but also players coming down perhaps on loan or on injury through the affiliation process.
Well, right. You always like that. As a professional, you want more eyes on you. That means more opportunities as a professional moving up the ranks that you may not get otherwise. So we know that big teams are watching us, and at the same time we have that affiliation to maybe get some ideas, get some players, and just continue to improve as a club overall, from individual and a team aspect.
You've been on the road several games so far this season, not in the confines of Legion Stadium. What's it like to be home again tonight and to be in ILM with one city, one club, ILM?
Well, you and me both. We've been here for a while, so we know how special it is to be here. The community, they support us so well. It just feels great. It feels great to be home, and I think that's what makes it such a hard place to play over the years. We may not have showed it once again with the results, but trust me when I say you look at the guys in the locker room and they're happy to be home. We want to play here. We want to win for this crowd, and there's a lot riding on it every time we are here.
Wonderful thing going on in the league that there is 24 teams now and a true division in East-West. What's it like knowing that your travel has reduced a little bit? What's that do to your body going into the latter, certainly the hotter months of the season? What's that do as a player, knowing that you might be able to keep up the pace?
Yeah, people may not see that either, so it's good to note. It's good to note that we're not making those West Coast trips where you're playing a bunch of games and adding in that travel time, because you know that jet lag, that starts to beat on you. And the other changes is there's no back-to-back games. We're used to that in the middle of summer. You're going on heat and turf, and you're playing the next day. It could be rough. So those are all positive changes. I think it just goes along with what our team's doing, what this league is doing, and everyone's moving in the right direction to just make it more professional environment.
Well, I know that the Wilmington Hammerheads are happy to have you. I know it's a pleasure to have you up here in the broadcast booth. We're going to let you get back to the locker room and get things for the second half, but just wanted to make sure that you know that you're a good part of this organization. So thanks for coming up here this evening.
Well, thanks, Chris. That means a lot to me, and I hope to stay here for years to come. So, if you're welcome to have me, I'm glad to come up here in the booth and chit-chat a little bit.
That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us on Wilmington Hammerhead FC on YouTube. I'm Chris Liebert with Wilmington Hammerheads defender number 5, Troy Cole. Enjoy the second half. See you soon. And welcome back, fans, to Legion Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm Chris Liebert. With me, Zach Haynes. We are about ready to start the second half in a very
dramatic first half, not on the scoreboard, but certainly on the field. We had a yellow card issued to Charleston Battery's Dane Kelly in the 27th minute, and there's been a lot of stuff around it that the center referee Jeremy Smith has had to take care of. But no goals scored in a 0-0 battle between Charleston Battery and Wilmington Hammerheads. A red card. I might have said yellow card caution there, but a red card to Charleston's number 9, Dane Kelly. So we will get set here for the second half. Both sides, of course, changing sides. Wilmington in the all-white and Charleston in the red and black shorts there. Zach, comments on the first half. Certainly nothing on the scoreboard, but several things in the referee's book.
Absolutely, Chris. It was very, very interesting. It was physical. It was competitive, but it definitely went over the line a few times in terms of players getting booked, players with some challenges after the play. So we'll see if things settle down a little bit, and we'll see how the man advantage dictates what the Hammerheads look to do here in the second half. And then we talked a little bit about the tactical adjustments of both teams, but the Battery will, I'm sure, look to keep them at bay as long as possible, to be in this game as long as possible towards the final whistle. So the Hammerheads need to get a good rhythm going forward, need to be patient, need to be willing to send numbers forward, but also organize behind the ball.
Well, other than Dane Kelly being sent off for Charleston, we'll see if there were any changes by both sides here as the game goes on. No reports as of yet of any changes substitution-wise, and quickly we get back to seeing Garbanzo for Charleston hitting the turf there, and certainly some illustrated play by him in the waning moments of the first half. So Wilmington on attack again, patiently again, trying to build something from their end as they have that man advantage. These two teams have played twice already this season. Once only last week down in Charleston, and that result in favor of the Charleston Battery with a 1-0 score there. So the Hammerheads desperately, I hate to use that word so early in the season, but drastically needs points at home. They have not found full points at home this season, Zach, and it's certainly a game now with a man advantage. There should not be any kind of excuse without picking up full points.
Yeah, the term must win, it comes out all the time. You feel like every analyst, pundit, everybody talks about must win games, and I would imagine that Carson Porter says to his team they're all must win games, but you would think with the circumstances here and just the fact that they do have the man advantage and the amount of time that they will have the man advantage unless they get a red card themselves, this seems like a game where they need to take care of business at home, and it would be a great springboard for them.
There's a costly turnover there by Sonny Jane to look like he's been dropped back into the center midfield, but certainly has been on the wing this evening. But nonetheless, Charleston in possession here, and you see it all the time. Sometimes teams play just as organized and okay with 10 players and not in trouble. And you've seen actually teams with a man disadvantage coming out on top.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I do think for the Battery, it's not going to be that far away from what they typically play. And that's, as we mentioned, 2 banks of 4 and Van Chuck and Cortillo in the middle of the park. The difference is what they can do as they go forward. Of course, with one less in terms of attacking players and forwards and a different type of player with Garbanzo up front. So they will have to change what they do going forward, but defensively, I think it suits them just fine. The big question will be how the Hammerheads change what they do and if they look to push numbers on. We talked about Nicholson going forward a little bit higher.
Well, here's a chance there. Campbell getting into the box and a missed service there as I do believe Zimmerman unable to find the side of or the service from Campbell. Sonny Jane, Hammerhead still having the ball, decides to slow down, and Tom Parrott will whip a ball across and just over the head of Justin Moose there. Campbell hits a shot and off the side of a winder there and out of bounds for a Cooper and Charleston goal kick.
Great run. Great ball in by Andre Campbell. That's much better. They need to find him on the edges, and that whipped-in service across the ground is what Zimmerman can thrive on. He was a little bit late getting there, but you see the height and the size of the two center backs for the Battery. They're perfectly fine with early service into the box and playing things off of Zimmerman's head. What they do not want to do is have to turn around and face their own goal with service in behind, threaded balls in behind for runners.
A turnover there just at midfield, so Wilmington will be back in possession again, and Ackley, as many times this evening, have been able to control the ball and finds his defenders as Tom Parrott just at midfield steps up and tries to find Zimmerman. Agity defends for Charleston, and Zimmerman able to regain possession for the Wilmington Hammerheads, again in all white, going from left to right now on your screen. And the visiting Battery in red and black, and you see O'Denzel Cooper calling off his center back in Ferguson there and trying to take off as much time as possible for the remainder of this 45 minutes or 40 minutes or so now in the second half. And a 0-0 score, Charleston and Wilmington. And again, a Bonzo tangled up with the Wilmington defense, as we saw in the whole last 10 minutes of the first half, partner. And
he's fearless. He's fearless. There's no question about that, I will say. He doesn't mind mixing it up with center backs who have quite a bit of size, quite a bit of height and weight on him, but he's scrappy, he works, he puts in a shift for his team. You can certainly say that about him.
And another ball whipped in by Campbell, but easily met there by Mueller for Charleston. But Wilmington still in possession, as we'll probably see most of this half, having that man advantage. And we see Martinez patiently finding his midfield play in Paul Nicholson. Back to Martinez. And moves to Nicholson. And finding Campbell. Great first touch by Campbell. Ball whipped across and knocked out of bounds by Woodbine. And we'll see a third corner kick of the evening for the Wilmington Hammerheads. None that have been dangerous in any sort.
That was an unbelievable pass by Corbin Bone outside of the foot. A little bit of texture on it and just puts it in the path of Andre Campbell making the run in behind from the left back spot.
Here's Campbell again standing over this corner kick as Wilmington trying to get on the board, and Troy Cole unable to get on top of that, and it hits the top of his head and comes out as Charleston will walk to every ball and try to take as much time off as they can, knowing that they're stuck in a little bit and not having the same equal power as far as players are concerned.
It's clear that a draw is good for them at this point in the season. They're second in the table. They come on the road and have an unfortunate event with them and a red card in the first half. So coming away with a point, I think, would be a fantastic achievement and a good result that the coaching staff of the Charleston Battery could be happy with.
This far side over to Prince, and he is met there by Andre Campbell and well defended, but will be a throw-in to his reward. 53rd minute.
It looks like center back from the Charleston Battery, Sean Ferguson's coming forward. This will be a long throw here.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier in the telecast that the field here at Legion is very narrow, so this throw-in will actually be held up as Jeremy Smith comes in and has words with Ferguson there, who has come forward. So we wait the throw-in from Charleston on the far sideline. 54th minute, both teams trying to break deadlock, and there's a long throw in there and easily collected by Andre Rawls. But that's a dangerous situation when you're so close to that throw-in in the mix there.
Well, and we mentioned before that a draw would be great for the Charleston Battery, and defensively they're set up to keep the Wilmington Hammerheads at bay, but that won't stop them from taking opportunities in the attacking third, whether it's a long throw or a set piece or a restart. That's going to be more than likely their best chance to get something out of this game in terms of a goal and a chance to get the 3 points.
Justin Moose slips and falls there as he turns the ball over, but Corbin Bone able to come out and put his Hammerheads back on attack, and good whipped in ball there and knocked away and well played by Odisnell Cooper in goal for Charleston. And he has a quick restart all the way outside to Woodbine.
Another excellent service down the left from Andre Campbell. He's doing well to shape that service in behind the back four and giving his front players a chance to run onto it instead of making it an aerial battle, as it so happened often in the first half.
Charleston has a throw in here as Troy Cole and Garbanzo tackle there, and we will see the first substitution of the game for the Wilmington Hammerheads, and coming on is going to be Basagog for the Wilmington Hammerheads in the forward position. He's a streaky forward, very strong, and he'll be, I do believe, pulling off. Tom Parrott seems to be coming off the pitch. Tom Parrott in a right back position, so perhaps Wilmington going to 3 in the back and putting a little bit more pressure up by adding Basagog into the forward position.
Yeah, this is an attacking substitution by Coach Porter, no question about it. Basagog came on for the Wilmington Hammerheads and had a fantastic second half as they looked to get a goal back versus the Battery on the road, a man down. He isolated the right back many times over the course of the second half and did well, taking him 1v1.
There's a big tackle there by Troy Cole, and we'll see another throw in by Charleston. And they certainly will take their time on every set piece that they have to try to drain as many minutes as they can. Ball across, and Martinez very lucky that doesn't jump up and hit one of his extremities there, Zach, and well played by Fran Martinez. That's a difficult ball. You sometimes see players get into trouble. Actually, you have to see a save there by Jackson, and he's down a little bit, as I do believe that Agity had come in and tangled up.
Yeah, not only were they able to back up the Hammerheads there, they produced a really good combination with the left back, Emmanuel Agity, getting forward and nearly getting in on goal. Larry Jackson, the goalkeeper for the Wilmington Hammerheads, came across to cut things out, and pretty fortunate there for the Hammerheads. A good moment for the Battery, but they'll need to get back on the front foot here and continue to put pressure on the Battery and drop them into their own half and get back into some of the rhythm they had early in the second half.
And Michael Chang for Charleston, picking up a third yellow card caution of the game for, I don't know if it was time wasting or...
Yeah, I think time wasting there. I think that was the last straw for referee Jeremy Smith.
And this is getting a little bit much now. Jeremy Smith has to come into play here, and this is Agity that's coming after Moose there, and it's getting a little heated once again, similar to the last 10 minutes of that first half from what we saw.
I think the confusion was whose throw it was, but the Battery was given a yellow card for time wasting. That didn't necessarily mean that they had to give the throw to the Hammerhead, so that was where the confusion came in. It looks like the switch here, Justin Moose is going to the right back position, but it's clear that they're going to push him on as Tom Parrott made his exit, and Christian Basagog comes over to the left wing position. Sonny Jane moves up front, it appears, with Nick Zimmerman. So slight change in system. They're certainly going for it here.
Woodbine all the way back to Mueller as his battery keep possession and settle things down, and Troy Cole able to be there, and Justin Moose tidying things up to keep possession for Wilmington. Little interaction there between Ackley and the center referee, but Ackley able to break free and keep possession. Here's Bone. Bassagog unable to get his first touchdown and keep the ball, but Wilmington there again having numbers.
Yeah, the Hammerheads are certainly going for it here, pushing numbers forward. They have basically their center back, Fran Martinez, behind the ball, and Ackley serving as somewhat of an anchor, but everybody else is pushed on.
Here's a counterattack by Charleston. A tough moment there, and Ackley brings Garbanzo down, and Ackley picks up a yellow card. Certainly a intentional professional foul there because Garbanzo was off to the races.
I'm not sure what the battery players are arguing. Obviously, they want a red card for Ackley, saying he's in on goal, but the thing is he's 45 yards from goal, 40 yards from goal, so there's a long way to travel, and there was Troy Cole was coming into the picture, or excuse me, might have been Fran Martinez, but at any rate, it's not a red card from that distance. It's certainly a yellow card for Brian Ackley.
Yeah, it wasn't the last offender there, but you're right, Troy Cole, if we were to see on replay that Troy Cole was past Ackley and the spot of the foul there, but that's exactly right what Charleston is arguing there. And once again, Jeremy Smith having to deal with a lot of other stuff other than soccer right now.
Nevertheless, the Hammerheads have to do a better job behind the ball. They need to get themselves organized. They're going to push numbers forward, but there's still a lot of time left in this game.
Ball whipped in, and actually a very dangerous ball, and that's Ackley again just sticking his leg up there to just get in front of the ball as Garbanza is there. If Ackley doesn't get there, that's a very dangerous.
Sean Ferguson's the target for everything at this point, and Brian Ackley has his hands full with this matchup. But this is where the battery feel they maybe have an edge, and maybe they can nick a goal here. And despite being a man down, this is their best chance to do it, although they have created in the last 10 minutes a couple good moments in the run of play.
So Charleston battery corner kick, 63rd minute. Ball whipped in. And not quite punched away by Jackson, but Ferguson unable to do much with the ball at his foot there.
The biggest thing right now for the Hammerheads is, of course, they need to get numbers forward. They feel the pressure to get the 3 points. They have a man advantage. They're going to send numbers forward as they've shown, and they've changed the system to allow them to do so. But they still need spacing. They still need to make sure that they don't overdo it and get reckless behind the ball and allow the Charleston battery to counter quickly, because then again they can't sustain attacks. If everyone's sitting on the offside line waiting for the ball to be played forward, they can't sustain attacks and continue to pile on the pressure every single time the ball is cleared from the battery. It'll be the Charleston battery clear the ball, and it'll be a counterattack. So it's important for them to be able to sustain good spacing, good patience, and don't get crazy. Still plenty of time left.
Fans, become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. And here's a chance by Zimmerman for the Hammerheads. Keeps the ball in, and again just turns the ball over on this short side, closest to us. Here's Martinez seeing if he can get anything going for his Wilmington side. Defensively, of course, not in too much danger tonight. Sonny Jane connects with Zimmerman, and here's Zimmerman again. And a save there by Cooper.
It looks like Fran Martinez and Troy Cole are essentially going to go 2v1 on Garbanzo. Ackley drops into the space that Andre Campbell vacates as the left back when he goes forward, and Moose is pushing really high up the right side. So aggressive starting positions.
Garbanzo's gone down again, and too easy there, and it's kind of what he's been doing all night long. And again, I just don't get it at this point, but obviously something that Jeremy Smith sees, that there was a foul there by Martinez, but
whatever he's doing, his coach loves him for it right now, because that's exactly what they need their center forward, a man down, to be able to do for them as the ball's played up. Earn something, fight the center backs off, earn a foul, give them time to get numbers forward.
So here's Portillo for Charleston in a dangerous situation. Free kick just outside of the box. Ball whipped in and cleared there by the Wilmington Hammerheads. And Campbell able to come out, and Zimmerman's down on that and pulled down. Ferguson whistled for a foul there, and again, just chippiness all over the place and players down left and right. So Jeremy Smith stops play, and we restart here as Bassagog for Wilmington gets some more touches. All the way outside for Cole. Still with Cole. Whipping ball in there. Not quite up over Mueller there, but will be a corner kick for the Wilmington Hammerheads. So crowd hasn't really gotten alive here. These Wilmington Hammerheads trying to get something in the back of the net with the one-man advantage in the 67th minute here at Legion Stadium. And sense of urgency certainly has come across the Wilmington Hammerheads here, as they know that they need full points. Bassagog not doing the best of jobs to keep possession, and this is Michael Chang on this near sideline, and quickly covered by several Wilmington Hammerheads. Oh, a turnover as Chang gets through, and he's brought down, but no foul there. And Charleston now making a little bit of push towards knowing that they have nothing to lose. Man down.
Well, they're doing it with one or two players. It's causing problems for the Hammerheads on the counter because there's so much space. As they push numbers on and 8 or 9 players ahead of the ball, it's not too difficult for Charleston to find the outlet and either turn and run or link the play and have a counter with some kind of quality.
And the Hammerheads would like to wish a very special happy birthday to Spencer Craig, 12.
Here's Zimmerman and Nicholson again, out to Campbell, which has been pretty successful tonight before getting a service. And a shot going to be taken. And the flag stands down, and that's going to stand. It's a goal. It's a Sonny Jane goal off of a shot, an initial shot, where we've seen crosses all night long, and actually that's Bassagog that takes a shot, deflected down off of Cooper, or over Cooper, and Sonny Jane's there to head one home, open net. Charleston wanted the flag to go out with this near sideline assistant referee, but it stays down 1-0 Wilmington Hammerheads. The patience has paid off, and they get themselves on the board.
May have been a cross, may have been a shot. Bassagog knows. But either way, it was effective because he was able to beat the right back, get to the end line, serve a ball across early with pace, in behind the Charleston Battery back four, and the goalkeeper couldn't deal with it, and Sonny Jane opportunistic on the back post. So whether it was a cross or a shot, he got himself in a good area. He's been a very, very good substitution, and he's brought immediate production to the Hammerheads. So 1-0, they've gotten the moment that they wanted, that they've pushed for. Now let's see what they do with 20 minutes to go. Up a goal. I'm sure you'll see the Charleston Battery here become quite a bit more aggressive in their approach.
Well, that replay certainly, again, couldn't tell from the angle. He hit it pretty hard as if he was striking it, and I'm sure the young man will say, yeah, he was putting it on frame, but Cooper getting a little bit of it, but going right to Sonny Jane, heads at home, open net. And these Hammerheads are in the driver's seat right now to hopefully pick up some points, desperate points that they need to get a win at home, their first of the season.
Yeah, from the area on the field Bassagog was at, I don't think there's any question that it was a cross. But by the same token, when you get into that area, you're taught by your coaches to drive it hard and low across the goal towards the far post, and typically good things happen, and you give your players in the box a chance to pick up the pieces if you do your job. So Bassagog did just that, and he's brought the crowd to life, and as I said before, it'll be interesting to see how the Hammerheads carry this one out.
Sonny Jane once again the goal scorer for the Hammerheads, putting his team up 1-0 in this battle with the rival Charleston Battery. We are in the 70th minute, so follow at USL on Twitter to become a league insider. Join club conversation, have a chance at exclusive giveaways. So certainly been an interesting night, as there's been more stats by the referee than both teams, but Sonny Jane, a good move there by Justin Moose. Good recovering speed and defense there by Sean Ferguson. Justin Moose was almost past him. He gets in front of the defender there. He's going to be able to have a strike on goal. But certainly some interesting happenings over the course of these 70 minutes, Zach, and these Wilmington Hammerheads finding themselves up 1-0 in a big battle in this June night.
Looks like the first adjustment they've made is to go into a traditional back four again. Brian Ackley's gone to center back, and Troy Cole's gone to right back. Chris. Nick Zimmerman's dropped off into center mid, and looks like we have some more substitutions on the way.
I will say that this is 4 guys going to be coming on at one time, and looks as if three Charleston Battery players will be coming on. I think Wilmington will be the first of the substitutions, and
looks like Brian Ackley will come off for the Wilmington Hammerheads.
Yeah, Ackley's coming off, and
Shawnee Faircloth. Straight swap to right center back. Looks like they'll go slightly more defensive here for the last 18 minutes and renew that partnership with Fran Martinez and Ashani Faircloth that we saw at the end of the Battery game last weekend.
I do believe that was Garbanzo that came off for Charleston. So that'll be a new front runner for Charleston, and that's actually going to be number 16 on our roster, but I don't see him on the official roster here. Possibly a late addition to this group here. It is. It sure is. It's Evil Cordovez. So Cordovez up top for So Cordova is going to be up top for the Charleston Battery to see if he can draw one back, replacing Garbanzo. And it looks as if another substitution here forthcoming for the Wilmington Hammerheads. Could be a Nunga for Wilmington. Here's a situation here that Wilmington doesn't want to find himself on, and hits the post there. That's Cordovez, and don't know how that quite happened. It looked as if Wilmington was caught sleeping with no defenders, and all of a sudden Cordovez gets a shot taken, or takes a shot, hits the post. He could draw that game quickly to 1-1 there.
Yeah, Cordovez, his first influence on the game is to make an excellent diagonal run off the shoulder, splits the center backs, runs in behind Fran Martinez, and they're able to find him in behind, and he cuts onto his left foot. And honestly, great effort to the far post, and Larry Jackson must not have been judged to have gotten a touch on it, as it's a Hammerheads throw.
That's Sebastian Thurier, too, that has stepped into the midfield for the Charleston Battery. I do believe that he replaced Portillo. So that was an onslaught of substitutions. Sorry, fans, if we couldn't keep up in time, but quite a distance here to see from the far side. But I think we're got everything on board now. So Ferguson for Charleston, playing still at the center back, moves forward. He's got Agity here on this near side. Probably about 15 minutes or so for these Wilmington Hammerheads to hang on. Yeah, Corbin Bone has come off for the Wilmington Hammerheads, and Anunga comes on for Wilmington. Get some fresh legs there, certainly some depth that Carson Porter wants to use to preserve this lead here again, once with a man advantage. Cordovez doing a good job so far early on in his night, late in the game, but just as I say that, he knocks it out of bounds. So Wilmington will see to take a little time, and we have another substitution there on the far side at midfield. And I think Sonny Jane's going to be coming off. And Cody Arnaud comes on for Wilmington, replacing Sonny Jane. As he takes over the captain's band that Bone had on his arm for most of the night. Thurier for Charleston.
Although Coach Porter here has gone back to 4 in the back, 2 holding mids, the original formation that the Hammerheads started the game with. A lot of fresh legs onto the field. He wants to keep the intensity high. Clearly he wants to continue to put the Battery under pressure and make sure that they don't find space, they don't find room to operate. 13 minutes to go. See if they can hold out.
Bassagog unable to get around his defender. Well defended there by Mueller. Possession stays with Wilmington. Paul Nicholson able to come out in the midfield with the ball all the way out to Troy Cole. Vans Nike is a proud partner of the USL, so follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. First touch by Cody Arnaud. And Bassagog, nifty little turn, and he's brought down, but no call by the referee. And he's still down on the turf holding his, and an offsides flag goes up for Cordovez.
Brian Anunga and Christian Bassagog are 2 players from Cameroon, young players. They came over well after the season had already started. Paperwork had to be finalized and all these things, but it's taken them a little bit of time to settle in. But obviously Bassagog's made a difference tonight, and we'll see if Anunga can put his print on this game as well.
Yeah, Bassagog picking up the assist in the goal for the Hammerheads. The Sonny Jane goal coming in the 73rd minute.
Wilmington Hammerheads would like to thank the following partners: New Hanover Regional Medical Center, Bojangles Chicken and Biscuits, Alternate Phone Systems, and Lava Malaysia All-State Agency. And the Hammerheads would also like to
It's been a grind for the Hammerheads tonight, and of course, as we know, they've had the man advantage, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an easy outing, even with the time spent with the man advantage. So if they can finish out the last 11 or so minutes here and grind out this result, it hasn't always been pretty, it hasn't always been the soccer that I know they want to play in terms of connecting passes and building quality of attacks, but they've certainly done enough to warrant the victory, and I know they'll take quite a bit of satisfaction and a great deal of momentum if they can get the 3 points, a much-needed 3 points as we've talked about.
tonight's match. We hope to see everyone again soon.
Troy Cole here at midfield, near side. Manunga. And Justin Moose loose. And a long ball to Basagog on the far side. Quick first touch by Basagog, well defended. Still at Basagog's feet. And turned over there on the far side as Nevion Boyd plays up top, but it's offsides again by Cordovez.
That was very, very close. It looked like Cordovez timed his run near to perfection and would have been in on goal. The back four of the Hammerheads are still playing a fairly tight line and letting him run off sides as he's their only outlet at this point for the Battery, looking to hit quick on the counter.
So just about 10 minutes left in this contest. You're watching Wilmington Hammerhead FC on YouTube. It's the Charleston Battery against the Wilmington Hammerheads for the third time this season. And a offside flag goes up on the Hammerhead side of the field. Second half goal by Sonny Jane that has put these Hammerheads up this evening.
The Battery looks a little bit tired now. They definitely have put in a lot of effort in the second half, especially. They had a flurry of attacks, and they looked like they might just go ahead.
Here's going to be a good look at Basagog taking on three defenders there. Shot going to be taken and saved. A great save by Jackson, but not cleared yet. Cody Arnaud, with the ball at his feet, stays in bounds and off and out for a goal kick. But that's a chance for Cody Arnaud to try to find an upper part of the goal. Cooper does a good job once again coming out to cut down the angle there. And the Hammerheads certainly would be on easy street if Cody Arnaud finds the back of the net there in the waning moments of this contest.
As we mentioned, the Battery's starting to look a little bit tired. They've put a lot of effort in this game. It's been difficult. They've played down a man for so long, and they've worked hard to keep their shape, but still continue to produce some attacks. And looks like they're starting to creak just a little bit here. Great work by Basagog down the left side and released Cody Arnaud for a fantastic opportunity.
Great job there by Boyd to... Oh, it's an own goal. It's an absolute nightmare for the Wilmington Hammerheads. A Shawnee Fairclaw getting in the way of a Navion Boyd service. And it's an own goal that brings this game to a 1-1 tally once again. 84th minute own goal by a Shawnee Fairclaw. And just an absolute dagger into the Wilmington Hammerheads. Fairclaw's down there. I don't know if that's an injury or if it's to his pride or heart there, but you got to feel bad for Shawnee Fairclaw. He's a good player, a good man, and he's hurting here now. It looks as if he's done his hamstring. But nonetheless, here with about 6 minutes and some added time, we're 1-1. And just when we're talking about Wilmington
Well, he can't come off, Chris. There's been 5 substitutions, and he's either coming off and now the numbers are going to be even, or he's going to stay on. So it'll be interesting to see what the Hammerheads do.
Well, he's trying to walk it off here, but ball is in play, and certainly Charleston has a little bit of life in them. You see a little pep in their step, and Fairclaw is struggling to even walk. And Nicholson able to get the ball, and you see the wheels of Basagog there to get around the outside, but unable to keep the ball in. So Fairclaw hobbles over to the midfield. You're right, he can't come off because all the substitutions have been made. Looks as if he's holding that right hamstring, but now we are level once again in players, so the one-man advantage is no longer in play. And the time keeps ticking on here as we'll certainly have some added time on here, Zach, as it's been a bizarre evening from start to finish, and it just continues on for the full 90.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit in shock here. It's been a strange one. They made all the substitutions to make sure they stayed fresh, the Wilmington Hammerheads, that is, and then one moment the Battery come in, and we'll see what happens here. It looks like, once again, another...
That's Anunga down on the turf, and it just seems that every action of both teams and players, it looks as if they've been shot in some way. I mean, just rolling around left and right, and hopefully he's not in that kind of pain, but certainly a display of agony. So it will be a Wilmington Hammerhead free kick as we see a ball whipped in there, and great save by Cooper. Not out of trouble yet. Cody Arnaud back to Zimmerman. And ball tried to be served across by Anunga, and a little shove in the back there by Cordovez. Will be a Charleston Battery throw-in, 88th minute. 1-1 your score, and a bizarre happenings there. And it looks as if there's a ball on the field there, but won't be a free kick. I thought that Jeremy Smith, the referee, was calling for a free kick there, but just a throw in for Charleston. Charleston now with the ball just at midfield, and a turnover. Campbell to Arnaud. Here's Arnaud. Troy Cole with the ball for Wilmington. Big long ball on the far side. And it's going to be over the end line there. It looked as if it was a handball on Taylor Mueller, but will be it will be called here. It's going to be a late call for a handball, so it will be a free kick for the Wilmington Hammerheads in a late decision there by Jeremy Smith. That's a bizarre happening there too, Zach, that it was late in call. I don't know. He didn't confer with any linesman, so he made the decision that sure enough he did. So here's the ball whipped in across. It's going to be flicked on, shot taken, but actually can't find any daylight, and will be off of the Charleston Battery defense, and will be a corner kick for Wilmington. So 1-1. There will be time added on. Big chip to the far post. Ball headed straight up, and Cooper's going to be able to come and grab unattested.
It came from an excellent switch of play from Paul Nicholson, and once again they isolated Basagog out wide left on the right back, and he made his move and was able to earn the handball and another restart and another chance for the Hammerheads. But they're really pressing here. They want to find the second goal. The Battery will be feeling much better about their position here, and 2-1. That'll suit the Hammerheads. They'll go for it. 1-1 will certainly suit the Battery.
Here's Bassagog trying to take on Mueller, and he gets around. Ball going to be played across. Great hustle, and the wind has changed there. Just checking the radar here, Zach. There's a huge storm just probably moments away. The wind has picked up. There's lightning off in the distance, and as we're checking the radar, probably about 5 minutes from now. So we'll be lucky to get the remainder of this game in. Ball whipped across and punched away by Cooper.
Been a strange evening.
There's tents blowing all around the stadium. There's programs on the field, and the wind now is at the back of the Wilmington Hammerheads as Troy Cole plays a long crossing ball and played out of bounds by Mueller. So we have reached the 90th minute. 4 minutes have been put up on the far side by the fourth official. So 4 minutes of extra added time here. An absolute bizarre evening. Another corner kick for Wilmington and cleared by Mueller.
Yeah, all the fans are running out to the parking lot to try to beat the storm, and the Hammerheads are pressing to try to find the game-winning goal, and about a 25-mile-per-hour wind at their back. Strange.
Ball's going to stay in and bend, but unable to keep down. It just kept rising there. Cody Arnaud unable to get up over it. So about 3 minutes left in this bizarre evening and a 1-1 score. The Charleston Battery visiting the Wilmington Hammerheads in Legion Stadium in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. A huge storm on the horizon here. All the tents are blowing away from and around the stadium. It's probably a 25 to 30 mile wind that now is whipping across in the face of Denzel Cooper. And the Hammerheads are trying to get a goal back off an own goal. In the 84th minute, that leveled this game back at 1-1. And a big clear into the stands there. And Lightning in the distance still. Getting closer and closer as we get closer and closer to the end of this match. Here's Paul Nicholson. Nicholson's around. He's going to be able to get across in and diving, sliding tackle there. I do believe that's Ferguson. There's ball boys everywhere. Zach, it's just an absolute tornado down on this field here, and the Hammerheads are going to get a chance to serve the ball once again into the mix here as we see Fran Martinez standing over the ball. Wind in his face now. It's turned directions. Ball whipped across and over the heights of Bassagog.
Well, they bring their center back to take the corner kick because he's the lone left-footed player on the field besides Bassagog, and obviously trying to use the wind that they have blowing towards their own goal to get some whip on it and put it as close to the frame as possible and get runners in on top of the goalkeeper. They've had their chances. They've had their moments here at the end. The Hammerheads have, but just hasn't quite come for them.
Yellow card caution has been issued in the 90th minute to Odisnell Cooper, the goalkeeper for Charleston, for time wasting. You know, and in this situation with the ball moving and being blown off the tee, if there was one, certainly the referee's in control of the time there. So once he's given the yellow card there, it's just adding a little extra time there for the duration of the game. So no real situation. Wind in the face of Charleston now, just swirling. Probably a 25-mile-an-hour gust as a storm approaches, and what turned to being a wonderful night of soccer condition-wise has turned into a tornado storm down on the field here. And there's the final whistle for this evening
game of interesting illustrated motions all over the field. The referees have come together here as they know that they've had a long night in this 1-1 score. The Wilmington Hammerheads and the Charleston Battery. Charleston comes out. They know that they stole one away from the Hammerheads, picking up a late point off an own goal by late substitute Ashani Fairclaw in the 84th minute. Looked as if Sonny Jane's goal was going to stand to put these Hammerheads in the point category of full points, and I do believe it started raining now. We're looking up into the lights, and there's a big sheet of rain just coming down, and just as the whistle blows. So an interesting night, a man advantage for the Wilmington Hammerheads from the 27th minute on, and they get a late goal thinking they're picking up full points, but Charleston does a good job to pull one back. Unluckiness on an own goal.
Yeah, Chris, it's a tough night for the Hammerheads, and the way things went, they'll feel that 3 points was going to be the only result that they'd be satisfied with, and it came down to a late goal, and unfortunately it was an own goal for the Hammerheads, but the reality is they found the one that put them up, and it took a couple minutes for the Battery to get going again, but they created some quality moments, and they isolated Andre Campbell, left back for the Hammerheads, and were able to whip across in. It was into a dangerous area, difficult for Ashani Faircloth to defend in the first place, and unfortunately for him it was an own goal at the end of it. But tough one for the Hammerheads. They'll certainly look back on it, and I'm sure there'll be things that they'll want to adjust for the next game. But all in all, it is a result. It is one step forward, one step in the right direction. So they'll find the positives to build off of, and Coach Porter will get them motivated for the next contest.
So with this result for both teams, the Hammerheads will move to 1 win, 6 losses, and 4 ties for a total of 7 points in 11 games. And the Charleston Battery, they will move to 6, 1, and 5 ties. They'll pick up a 23rd point, and I do believe that's enough to keep them in second place of the table, not knowing any other results of this evening. So to recap, a late goal by Sonny Jane to put the Hammerheads up, and then an own goal in the 84th minute by Ashani Fairclaw for the Hammerheads that brought this game to 1-1. Very interesting. The rain coming at the end. Stadium is cleared now, and our broadcast is going to end on a high note here because it's been a good game. Great to watch, and USL soccer proves again to be interesting for these home-based fans.
Yeah, we'll look forward to the next one, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Certainly some interesting things happening on the field tonight, but as I said before, the Hammerheads will take away the positives, move on to the next one, and build off of what is a point gained in a tough league.
Well, partner, it's been an enjoyable night with you. We're going to sign off for everyone at Turbo Sports Group. For Zach Haynes, I'm Chris Liebert. Thanks for joining us on Wilmington Hammerhead FC TV on YouTube. Join us next time. Have a great night.